This is the Outland model OTI-960-2A. This is a 2-channel hard drive recorder. Starting on the rear of the unit, you'll see a series of RCA connections and some other connections for some other features. On the far left hand side, you'll see video inputs for channel 1 and channel 2, and also the audio inputs for channel 1 and channel 2. Next to that, you'll see the spot output for both channel 1 and channel 2. The spot output is made so that you can pass through the video to a separate source. For example, if you had a separate monitor in a separate location, you could use this as a splitter to go from channel 1 to another monitor in addition to this unit. Next to that, you also have the main outputs. The main output, you have both analog RCA output and a VGA output. You can run both of these simultaneously to two different monitors if you choose. The VGA output is going to be a little bit higher resolution, a little bit clearer. You'll see a USB port for offloading video to a USB thumb drive, or for some other functions we sell a GPS antenna that will plug into this port also, that allows you to have a GPS coordinates on screen. Then you also have your LAN connection for connecting to the internet and for transferring files over a LAN connection, as well as your Wi-Fi antenna. Below that is your 12-volt DC input. On the front of the recorder, you'll see the power light, which will indicate that power is applied to the recorder. The only way to turn on and off this recorder is by having 12 volts applied to it. There's no on and off button. If power is applied, then the recorder will be on. When you have a good power connection, this light will be a solid green. Below that is a Wi-Fi indication light. So when you're connected to a good Wi-Fi signal, that light will be blue. Next to that, you'll see the Photo 1, Photo 2, Record 1, and Record 2 buttons. Photo 1 and Record 1 apply to Channel 1 video, and Photo 2 and Record 2 apply to Channel 2 video. If you want to take a snapshot of your video signal, you could press the Photo 1 button. You'll see Snapshot OK on the screen. That confirms that this image has been saved as a JPEG onto your hard drive. The Record 1 button will start recording of the Recording 1 channel. To stop recording, you can either press the Stop button or Record 1 again, and it'll say Save File, and it should go away. Same thing for Photo 2 and Record 2. If you have two channels plugged into this recorder, right now I only have one connected, but if you had two, you can press the picture-in-picture button to toggle on the picture-in-picture. So you'll see channel 1 in full screen and channel 2 as an inset image, which right now it's just showing black. You can swap the images by pressing the swap button, and that'll make channel 2 the main screen and channel 1 the inset screen. You press swap again and it'll go back. The move button will move the picture-in-picture inset about the screen. To turn it off, you just press the picture-in-picture button again. So now maybe you want to see channel 2 instead of channel 1. Well, with the picture-in-picture turned off, you can just press the swap button, and that'll swap it over to channel 2. Press it again and it'll swap it back to channel 1. Hang on. To access the main menu, press the menu button. From there you'll see Playback list, Record setting, System setting, Backup menu, Network setting, and Drive manager. The first option is the Playback list. To choose Playback list, press the Select button. Now you'll have the option of video or photos. If you want to play back videos or photos, you can use the up and down arrow key and then press Select to choose. Now you'll see Source All Channel 1, Channel 2. Source is the default is set to the internal hard drive. This is where you want to play back the videos from. By default it's set to hard drive. If you want to change it, press the Select button and use the up and down arrow keys to select a different source. If you have a USB thumb drive connected, you'll see that as an option. If you don't have a USB or an SD card, all you'll have the option for is the hard drive. Once you've chosen which source you want, just press the select button again. And you can choose whether you want to see all of your video or only channel 1 and channel 2. We'll select all. And it'll wait a second and it'll populate a list of all your video files that you have on the hard drive. You can use the up and down arrow key to select a video file. If you want to play back a video, you just highlight the video you want and press the select button on that video. So that'll play back the video. You can use the standard stop, pause, fast forward, rewind commands during the playback mode. To escape, you just press the escape button, and that'll back you up through the menu. The next option down is record setting. Press select to access it. The record setting is your default record path. Right now it's set to hard drive, but if you wanted to change that to record directly to an SD card, you could do that. To get out of there, press the escape button. System setting. Press select to access it. Here you can change your date format from month, day, year. You press select to highlight it. Use the up and down arrow keys to navigate the different options. Same with the date, time, channel 1 and channel 2. Channel 1 and channel 2 titles are limited to about 8 characters, and that'll show up on the screen. The overlay mode, it should be set as default to DVR, but there's some advanced features that are future options right now. So leave that set as DVR. Press down again and that'll get you to the second page. By default the overlay is turned off, so it says none. To turn it on, you have the option of putting the overlay on only channel 1, only channel 2, or both. I'm going to select both. The language is the menu language. It's by default is set to English. There's a few other options in there. TV system, this is where you would change your recorder to either NTSC or PAL video system. Logo overlay, this recorder has the ability to insert a JPEG logo overlay onto the screen. So you can put your company logo on the screen wherever you'd like. To do that, you would have to format a JPEG image to a specific size, which is outlined in the manual, and name it logo.jpg. And you would use this menu to insert that. Display setting will position different text onto the screen. So if you want the title in the upper left hand corner, right now the title, everything's turned off. So there's no title, no GPS, no date, no time, no logo. If you wanted to turn the title on, you press select on title, and you can use the up and down arrow keys to position the title on the screen. Let's say we want it in the bottom right hand corner, and press select on that, and it'll tell you setup successful. And now you can escape out of there, and the title should show up on the screen if you have one entered into channel 1 or channel 2 title. My DVR about just tells you the software version of the recorder, and really the software version and the IP address are the most important things that our customers would need to know. Right now I'm not connected to any network connection, so the IP address is blank, but this is where you would know exactly what the IP address is for your recorder if you're using some network functions of the recorder. The next menu is the backup menu. Again, so if you wanted to back up videos and hand this video to your client or save it for some sort of backup, you would select your source. So by default all the video is recorded onto the hard drive, so that's where your video is coming from. So your hard drive is your source. Your destination, where do you want to put the video? Whether you want to put it onto an SD card or a USB thumb drive, you would go down here and you would change that option also. So right now I want to move video, I want to back up video from the internal hard drive to my SD card. And I only want to transfer videos right now. So I'm going to select videos. It's going to populate the list of videos that I have. So I can do one of two things. I can select an individual file just by using the up and down arrow key and pressing the select button. And you'll see a little asterisk next to the file saying that it's been selected. You can do the same thing to deselect it. Alternatively, you can press the move button that will select all of the video files. So if I press move, all 3 files that are on the recorder will be selected. Now that these files are selected, I can do 2 things. I can record one, will back up the video, so that'll actually start the backup process. Or I can press record 2, and this is how I can delete the video files. So let's do record 1. So if I press record 1, all 3 video files are selected. It'll check the recorder just to make sure that everything is there and there's file space available, and it'll copy the video files. And once it's finished, it'll say it's finished. It'll just go back to the main menu. So now you can escape out of this and pull out the SD card, and you can hand that to your customer, or you can put it in your computer, do whatever you want to do with it. The next menu is the network setting. This is where you would set up your either your Wi-Fi or your LAN connection. Any settings that you do in here, in order for them to save, you actually have to reboot the recorder. And to do that, you have to unplug the power and plug it back in. There's no on and off button. Just unplug the power, plug it back in, and that'll be it. So device, you press select the device, and you can use the up-down buttons if you want to set up your Wi-Fi or your LAN connection. Let's set up a Wi-Fi connection. Alright, so now that's set up. You go down to device setting. I want to set up my Wi-Fi. Alright, here you have a few different modes. Access point is probably the most common. If you're in a remote area and you're just trying to connect to the DVR either with a laptop or your phone or something like that, you would use access point. That way you don't need another external network in order to connect to the recorder. To change that mode, press the select button, use the up and down arrow keys, and you can select either auto or AP. AP is the access point, and auto is any other Wi-Fi network that you might have. If you're in auto, you go down to SSID, so you enter the SSID of your Wi-Fi connection that you're trying to select, the security type, and your security password for the Wi-Fi connection. You can also either use a DHCP address, or you can specify an IP address, and that's kind of dependent on your network that you use. After all that is set, you press the escape button, just escape out of the whole thing, and it'll ask you to reboot. So once you reboot, it'll connect to the Wi-Fi, and everything should be good. The last menu is the drive manager, and this is where you can determine how much space is available, how much space is used, and you can also format the either the hard drive, the SD card, or your USB drive.